In my country, as in yours, a broad coalition has formed in support of the MEK. Not simply because it is a good alternative to the mullahs in Iran, but for a better reason. It is the only alternative. The mullahs have destroyed all internal opposition. What the world community needs to do is to get behind an opposition group that has the means, the leadership, the resources, that is willing to make the sacrifices to destroy the regime and build a democratic Iran. As I look at the alternatives, it is not that I see a few. It is not that there are many, but that there is one, the MEK. And for that reason, and for that reason alone, in my country as in yours, there is a rising chorus of support for the MEK to continue its fight for a free and democratic Iran and end this regime in Tehran now. Today, the road to a free Iran leads through Baghdad. Because when the history is written of a free Iran, what happened last week will be seen as a seminal moment and an important battle. The 7 who died were not simply civilians killed by accident. They were soldiers in the fight to free their country. And they were killed purposefully. But the attack was not on them alone. Camp Liberty was to be protected by the United Nations. The attack on Liberty was an attack on the United Nations, its members, the permanent members, the Security Council, France, the United States, Britain, Russia, China, and every nation that sat on that council and lent its voice to United Nations protection of the people of liberty. They were not attacked, you were attacked. It was the United Nations. And I ask you, where is the outrage by the members of the Security Council that their honor, their commitment was attacked by the mullahs in Iran and their complicitous benefactors in Baghdad? So today, we demand security for the people of liberty. And we would listen to any idea. The fact is, the Iraqi government has already answered our question. They've at least had the honesty to admit they cannot protect liberty, because it cannot be protected from themselves. In the absence of any idea, I have heard only one. Return the people of liberty to the one place where they can be safe, the homes they built and paid for themselves. Return to Camp Ashraf, where they can live in safety. Before they do, I have no right to speak for the United Nations. I claim no right. But there is one decent thing to be done to all those who listen to our voices today in hospital beds in Baghdad. Let me say to you what the United Nations hasn't had the decency to say for itself. We apologize to all of you who have suffered and died. It shouldn't have happened. You were promised it would not happen. We will not forget that you were let down. Until the people of the United Nations have the decency to apologize to you, we do it for them. We are sorry for your suffering. I know, as simply one supporter of the MEK, we've tried to do everything we can to help. Last month I went to Baghdad because the Iraqi government, the United Nations, told me I was wrong about Camp Liberty and its conditions. So I went to see for myself, but they would not let me in. They've told me I was wrong about the situation in Ashraf, so I went to see for myself, but they would not let me in. It's not an easy thing for anyone to admit they're wrong to the extent that it costs human lives. All of us who were responsible for bringing Maliki to power so he could sell out his own country to the mullahs and extend the Iranian war on decency in the world, we were wrong. We were wrong. And those of you in liberty are on the front lines of the consequences of our errors. All we can do is commit ourselves to avenge it, to change the circumstances, and turn the tide back, not simply in Iraq, but all the way to Tehran. For that, you have our lifelong commitment of our honor and our lives. Thank you all, and thank you for the honor of having me here today.